I mean, look, we've had players on this show, but we got actual like front office. We got execs, corner offices.
The content creators themselves, right?
This is like EP level. Like,
yeah.
Bring me the content, and if I don't like it, you're fired. Like that level. Who I've always wanted to be.
No, but the visionaries behind this project, Onside, the documentary coming soon, February 21st. That is again.
You also know him from Formula Drive to Survive.
Yeah.
You also know him from one of my favorite documentaries, Box to Box. Also produced Exit Through the Gift Shop, one of the greatest documentaries I've ever seen.
Legendary stuff. So excited to be joined by Paul Martin and Hillary Olsen. Thank you so much for joining us, guys.
Thanks guys.
Absolutely. So I hear an American accent, I hear a British accent. Were both of you soccer fans already?
I mean, growing up in the UK, I played soccer from the earliest possible.
Yeah.
And played till my legs couldn't take it anymore. So, I was just a huge soccer fan. It's probably the only sport I sort of really was ever any good at.
Right.
And had a bunch of mates that became professionals and, all that kind of stuff. So, for me, this was like the easiest sell of all time of come into the MLS and, follow the teams around.
Of course. Nice. Who do you support? We got to ask.
Well, unfortunately, I'm a Southampton fan. Which is...
Okay, so rough.
Yeah, thank you for Theo Walcott. I'm an Arsenal supporter.
Okay, yeah. Well, we took him back as well.
Yeah, you did.
When his knees were gone.
Yeah, he was fully gone.
He was gone.
I'm an Everton fan, and we had Theo Walcott for a little bit.
Theo Walcott. So we got the stages.
When did you get Theo Walcott?
What's your fandom like as far as when it comes to soccer?
I played soccer as a kid, so I really liked it. It was just growing up in the United States. I think it was just like really fun to do that. But when I got brought on to Box and we were doing this project, I was super excited because I've always loved soccer. It's really easy to watch. There's great stories, and it's just an exciting sport.
Yeah, that's what I'm want to ask about. As far as we're sickos, soccer sickos, as they say here. We're obsessed with it. We're gonna watch regardless if the stories are being told around the game. And we've been doing this for 10 years. And even from our perspective, right, we're usually try to highlight the humorous parts of the game. But then the dramatic parts of the game, especially for the American soccer player or the player that plays in America, is so undertold and untold, right? And so, even just watching the trailer for Onside, I'm like, I love the fact that the drama around the sport is captured amongst these, especially individual people and players. So what was did you have any feeling of like, oh, we have to try harder to show that there is drama around the sport, or did it feel like it just came naturally?
I think it came naturally. I mean, I think it's really interesting what you're talking about. I think, growing up in kind of the UK, it's sort of like, everything about America is like, we are the best. We are the NFL, we're the best. Basketball, we're the best. And it's funny, it's like soccer's the one thing that there's an insecurity that Americans have about it.
Because the way people with your accent talk to us about it, I think might be a part of it.
And so I think that it's, I think it was really interesting to go into the MLS and be able to showcase all that stuff that is there. Like, number one, these players are really good, right? They're really, really good. The stadiums are really packed. They're as passionate and they're as crazed about winning as players in the Premier League or players in the... But it almost felt like it just needed this vehicle for people to say it out loud, of like, listen, we're really good at soccer and we've got a really great league going on here and we want people to see it. And I think it was great for us, to be able to showcase that.
You guys changed America because you made us care about Formula One. Right? Americans only cared about racing if it was turning left. And you guys said, what if we show you the guys who go right? And we're like, oh. But I think how you did that is you made us humanize the person inside the mask, right? By sharing the personalities and the struggle and the tribulation. Drivers in F1, you feel like it's a rich guy's sport. And then all of a sudden you're like, even though there's a different type of league that they're in financially, or the guy who owns it or this or that, the emotions are the same that we all share. You guys are now trying to do that with MLS, and you're getting an opportunity to share those stories. Talk a little bit about the reaction from F1 and what you're hoping to achieve with Onside, which we're really excited about.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously, everything we do gets comparison to kind of Drive to Survive and the effect that had on kind of Formula One. I mean, I honestly, whenever we go into one of these things, I try to put hey, we're going to do a show that's going to change the way people see X, Y, Z. I try not to think about that ever because you'll tie yourself up in knots. I'm always like, the only thing that we need to be focused on is telling real, authentic stories that people hopefully will kind of resonate and be attracted to. And if we do the best version of that, all that other stuff hopefully should come, where, you know, there'll be people, you know, in the country that have never been to an MLS game that may see the show and say, hey, that actually looked pretty cool. I might go and check out a game. That's great. But we don't sit there going like, how are we going to get more fans to go to kind of MLS games?
Yeah.
We're just like, let's just make the best show that we can and find the best characters and do it with authenticity and you know, do it with kind of drama. And I believe that, you know, great stories and great characters are the best way to get people engaged in anything. You know, if you tell someone a great story that there's a character I really like or I really hate or I really kind of resonate with, you just automatically want to find out more. You just automatically like, well, I might check this out or I might go there. So I honestly don't think about that stuff because, you know, also Drive to Survive was, you know, the right show at the right time and COVID was going on and there's a bazillion reasons that blew up in the way that it did that can never be kind of replicated, you know. But what can be replicated is that we can go into these worlds and just make a really great show. Yeah, and that's what I think we've done.
Because I would have been like, I'm a magic maker. You know, I'm the opposite. I'm like, everything I touch turns to gold. You know, bring me lacrosse next.
When it comes to the specific people featured, were there any that stood out as far as whether it was maybe an emotional storyline or something that you were genuinely surprised by?
I mean, I think there's a lot of the stories do stand out, which is why the episodes end up coming together the way that they did, and they're really strong. I mean, I think if you look at the Cavan Sullivan episode, it's like such a special and unique story, and the access and where we were in terms of time and telling his story is fantastic. I think it just depends on kind of what lens you're looking through in a particular story, quite frankly.
Wow. How did you choose the folks that are associated with the project?
We sort of, you know, we were down here last year. We met a bunch of players. Then we went out to different teams, and it just, you know, it sort of reveals itself. I mean, Cavan Sullivan's a great example of, you know, I think sort of midway, you know, through the year, I think it was some of the MLS was like, oh, have you heard this story about there's this 14-year-old kid and he's going to play for Philadelphia? And I was like, 14-year-old kid's going to play professionally? Are you joking? Like, oh, I'll get my boots and I'll kick him. I'll go. You have that reaction. You're like, there's no way a 14-year-old kid's going to play. And then you see him play and you're like, okay, he's really good.
Yeah, get this adult out of the way and bring out the 14-year-old.
No, and then you meet him and you're like, oh shit, I've never met a 14, 15-year-old kid like him. Yeah. Like, it's extraordinary. And so you're like, well, he has to be in the show. We have to find a way for him to be in the show. And then you meet the family and you're like, oh my God, this is like producer's dream, the whole kind of Sullivan, you know, story. So, you know, it's just things like that. They sort of, you know, it's like, again, to go back to Drive to Survive. When we made Drive to Survive, we didn't cast Gunter. Gunter was just there doing his thing. It was just nobody had ever pointed the camera at him.
Right,
you know?
right.
And it was the same here. It's like, these characters are there. You've just got to kind of put the mic and point the camera at them and get them in the right moment
and let them go.
When it comes to the people involved in the documentary and everyone you spoke to, I know this has happened for us where, you know, we've interviewed you know, hundreds of players on the show, but there's regardless of even if they play on a rival team, you develop an emotional connection where you just want them to succeed in life and do well. Did that happen for you guys? Do you have a deeper connection for the sport, the league, and the players after finishing this project?
I mean, I would definitely say yes. It was very exciting, especially towards the end of the season.
You hated and then you loved at the end of it.
On this show, I don't know that there's anyone that
Paul
I hated.
Martin.
Paul Martin, I was like, no, I mean, I got really invested in like Matt Miazga's story. Oh, you're thinking of Kachuk.
Oh,
for
I'm thinking of
hockey.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay,
They're all really awesome, but like the Atlanta stuff.
That's awesome.
The Atlanta stuff.
Yeah, it was crazy to watch that whole thing kind of come to fruition with Miami, and we were with them the entire time, and they were like, don't go away. You're our luck charms for
Yeah.
being here, which was kind of awesome. You know.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I know we have to let you go, but I got one question for you. You're a Southampton supporter. If one of the players had a Pompey dot, would you have nixed him from the documentary?
100%. Yeah. 100%. It was we were here last year and we met Yoshida.
Yeah.
And he was obviously played for Southampton for years. And I literally was like, it's Yoshida. And it's like, and then I was at the game at the final and Yoshida was warming up. And I was like staring at him. I was like, Yoshida. And he's kind of looking at me. And I think he sort of half recognised me from sort of this time last year. And he sort of gave me a nod right before the end. I was like, I got the nod from
You're
Yoshida.
tapping your friend.
Yeah, got the nod from
Yoshida.
Yoshida. Yeah.
I'll introduce you guys if you want.
Yeah. But Pompey is always, on every show, anyone Portsmouth related is always off limits.
Yeah.
100%.
I love that. I mean, the tribalism runs deep. It's incredible.
Well, listen, it's an honor to have you guys on our show. I'm really excited to watch this.
Yeah. So best of luck going forward. And obviously February 21st, Onside, we're all going to be watching. So thank you guys for joining us.
Awesome. Thanks for
Next
having
one,
us.
Cooligans. Laugh to survive. I'm just saying.
Hey, you just spoke into reality. It's called manifesting.
Telling soccer jokes throughout the country.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, we have to make the pitch at the very
Exit
least.
through the thrift shop. I got a bunch of them.
Cheers,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.